How's it going, John?
I'm doing well tonight, Eric. How about you?
Equally well. I'm actually not tired this time.
Did you take a nap?
No, but I did relax. I
Oh,
did
good.
just kind of sit back and relax earlier today, and yeah, it was very pleasant. Very pleasant.
I don't know why I do not seem as tired as I have in the last few weeks, but I woke up at like 4:30 this morning because I fell asleep last night. Last night was one of those like, and the battery is empty. Sorry.
Yeah.
This is maybe on the a little even too personal side, but I looked at my wife and she's like, "You're gonna fall asleep, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "All right, I'll wait up, make sure the kids go to bed." I'm like,
Yeah.
Anyway, and I know I was asleep before 9. It must have been like 8:30 or something like that. I'm like, and I'm out. Anyway, pretty funny.
Pretty soon you're going to be having dinner at 3:30.
Do not even. Yes, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that we don't need to rush into like, planning, making the reservations for 3. It's okay. It's okay. I can take it. I can take it. Gotta be honest with yourself.
Well, it's been such a nice week. Weather-wise, Monday wasn't great, but the weekend was great.
Was it?
We spent a lot of time out in the yard, just kind of sprucing up the yard, cleaning up the yard. I have my plants have decided, okay, I guess it's spring now. We should start flowering, and it's
good.
It's starting to look good. So this weekend was yard work.
Okay. Some of those dead flowers you picked for me last fall, I planted some of the seeds, and so I have some. I have some seedlings. I don't know if they're going to grow and survive because I have a very brown thumb, but I am trying. So, and I decided earlier that the reason that none of my sunflowers have sprouted is I suspect a mouse.
Oh no!
So I set a mouse trap in the greenhouse tonight. And yeah, we'll see.
Curse you, rodents!
Right? Whatever. All right. That's not one of the things I can control. So, other fun stuff this weekend?
I had a doubleheader movie weekend. So, my wife and I went and saw the new Fantastic Beasts, The Secrets of Dumbledore. It was, if you like the other Fantastic Beasts, you'll want to watch it to kind of get the continuation of the story. Mm-hmm. I did not rewatch the previous 2 before. My wife did, and unfortunately for her, I kept leaning over and said, "Now, who's that guy again?"
So I should rewatch.
Yeah, I would rewatch, but they changed the actor for one of the main characters, and so it took a minute to go, "Oh, that's that character."
Okay.
Anyways, it was a little long, and I don't want to say it was bad, but I mean it was okay. I'm sure maybe I'll go back and rewatch all 3 once it comes out just to get the full complete story again or something. But it was fun, but not as good as I remember the first 2.
Okay. I'll have to rewatch the first 2 first.
Yeah.
Because I think that I generally remember them, but I'm not sure. Eddie Redmayne? Eddie Redmayne?
Yes.
Is that the character they recast?
No, they recast Johnny Depp's character.
Oh, okay. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the other movie I saw, my daughter number 1, who's now home, said, "Dad, we got to go see this movie. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once." And it's a fascinating movie. Totally go see it. It's not like any other movie you've probably seen recently.
I remember the previews for it.
Yes.
And thinking, ooh, that looks kind of cool.
It was very well done. It's hard to talk about without spoiling it. Because it's
no spoilers.
A multiverse type movie, right? So, but you're viewed through the eyes of a single person and the decisions they make or they made, which it kind of, I don't know, the what is it? The butterfly effect kind of idea where, something happens, but it's only viewed through that. And there's a kind of a family story element to it. And, struggles with, hey, when I was a kid, I had these grand dreams and now I own and run a laundromat. If you're on the fence, anyone out there is on the fence of whether or not they should go see it, totally go see it.
Okay.
And yeah, definitely not for little kids.
Okay.
But teenagers and adults will enjoy it. There's a couple scenes where you're yeah. Anyways.
Okay.
But it was good.
So you'd recommend that over the Fantastic Beasts?
I would, if you had to pick one for a weekend, go with the Everything Everywhere first. Fantastic Beasts, I feel like I would have been just as happy watching it at home on a streaming service on my TV.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty happy watching that with any movie at this point in life, but but the one thing we did do with the Fantastic Beasts, because I was a little. So, have you heard of this Screen X?
No.
So Screen X is an attempt by Hollywood to convince people to go to the movie theaters to give them experiences they can't have at home. So what Screen X is, we watched you've got IMAX, right? That's super big screen. That's something that you only get at the movie theater. Then there's also this Screen X version of a movie, which gives you 270 degrees. So you've got the screen in front of you, and that's what you watch. And then up the sides of the theater, during certain parts of the movie, it will extend the scene that's in front of you around you. So you see what's in front of you and to the side,
I'm sorry,
walking
are
down
there
the street.
Screens there? Or so you have to have a special theater that has screens or something on the sides?
So it's not white screen quality, like the bright white reflective to get the high quality screen. There are two other projectors either on the walls up high that project on panels, and they're kind of light gray panels. So when the lights are up in the theater, it just looks like the gray sound dampening panels. But in the dark and the light going on them, it's a little bit dimmer. It's not as bright as a screen in front of you, but it has this surround effect. We went and saw Ford versus Ferrari in the Screen X, and that was kind of fun because during all the racing scenes in the car, that's when they would turn that part of the movie on. And then the rest of the movie, family part, not racing car, it was just the screen in front of you. And so I was wondering, what's Fantastic Beasts going to do? Because there's no kind of hook for, like, Ford versus Ferrari. There was an obvious hook. If you were racing in a car, you had the 270 degree,
peripheral.
Yeah, the peripheral vision. Yeah, Fantastic Beasts there was one scene which was actually slightly nauseating because Dumbledore's, fighting with a guy in the middle of the street, and they pull it all around you. And so you see Dumbledore in front of you and the sides and everything. And then they flip the camera upside down. So they go through the ground to another dimension through a puddle, right? And this whole rotation, so the whole movie theater basically made you feel like you were turning upside down. and was very, yeah, my wife grabbed my arm in the middle of it because it was like, a little bit dizzying. So I will have to say, don't bother going to see Screen X version of Fantastic Beasts. I don't think they missed the hook, but I wanted to see what if it was worth the extra. I think it was extra $3 or something. It's like an IMAX type, an extra couple bucks for the ticket. But it was fun. It was different. Can't get that perspective at home.
All right. Well, I probably not this coming weekend because we've got like other stuff going on this weekend already. Maybe Friday night, but I'm not home till late on Friday night. So yeah, not this weekend. All right. I'll have to catch the Everywhere All at Once before it leaves the theater, though.
Yeah, that one was fun.
All at once. Okay, that's good. Well, so I left work early on Friday, hopped in the camper, got the camper ready, and then drove out to Forest Grove and kind of waited for my kids to be done with their strings class, and then basically did a tag team with my wife, and then she came home and basically had a nice relaxing home alone weekend, and I took the boys out to the beach. Met my parents out there who were kind of driving up from Arizona, and they had a 4-wheeler in the back of their car. So we went out on the beach, drove a 4-wheeler. The weather was not great out there. Saturday afternoon was decent, but I will only give you decent for a few hours. Not too cold and not raining. Not actively raining. The rest of the time it was mostly drippy. But that was okay. We did our beach junk food places that we like to go. There's a pizza place we love. There's the donut shop we love. We played games in the trailer, and both the boys played games with us, which was awesome. And and it was relatively short. We got out there pretty late Friday night, had all day Saturday, and then left to start coming home at 1:30 or so on Sunday afternoon. So I kind of left an hour or two early so I could get into my bees on Sunday while it was still 60 degrees. But it was a fun weekend. It was good.
Nice.
I didn't get anything done like productive, which is okay.
Family time, productive family time.
But it was it was enjoyable. Oh, and we took a break from listening to the Robert Jordan, The Wheel of Time, my boys and I, and we had listened to another Brandon Sanderson movie or story book, and we haven't been listening to books for the last probably almost a month. So it was nice to have a few hours locked in a car and be able to resurrect the Robert Jordan.
Right.
So that was cool. It wasn't since my parents were there, Grandma and Grandpa, they the boys and I didn't get to just like do nothing but listen to stories for like 12 hours a day, which is what we do when it's just the boy,
right?
The weekends. But anyway, so that was good. And then little short week this week because we're recording on Tuesday because both of us are kind of heading out of town for the rest of the week. So
yeah,
see what happens. Oh, I'm looking at the notes. I said real quick that we drove a 4-wheeler on the beach. There was a dead whale on the beach that we went past. Well, I went past it 3 times, once with each boy and once with my mother on the back of the 4-wheeler. And we didn't go super close because A, it really stank, and B, there was somebody up poking at it with the stick.
Hopefully it wasn't poking at it with dynamite.
I was like, right. It was, this is gross, but it was quite decomposed. And it was like, is that really a whale? Well, there was a vertebrae showing that was very clearly a whale vertebrae.
Right.
But I don't know when it died, but it's been there for a while. But anyway, that was one of the highlights.
I was wondering if you were going to choose highlights
of the beach ride, but provided a pretty good marker. Well, yeah, right up there. Don't go any farther than the dead whale. Anyway, that was pretty fun though.
If anybody hasn't Googled it yet, go Google Oregon exploding whale video on YouTube. I think it was one of my something funs or something.
I feel like we talked about that at some point a long time ago on this, but yeah.
Probably last time a whale had died on the Oregon coast at some point. Anyways. Yeah, so as soon as I saw your note saying dead whale, I was like, well, there's a very famous one.
I think they learned their lesson. It's become apocryphal. Yeah. Oh no, that's like means something false, right? Oh, an object lesson, I guess.
Yes. All right, security stuff.
Security. Well, okay, one more. So this goes in follow-up, technically. So
okay.
But it's not security yet because it was a follow-up to my something fun last week, which was about the fungus, about killing mites in honeybee colonies. And I happened to see a YouTube video this week that kind of described it as well. And, maybe had a little bit more info in it. So as the first link in follow-up, I'll throw a link to this YouTube video, which was cool.
Cool.
And then the second bit of follow-up that I threw in here was JR posted this in the Slack.
I saw this today, making the rounds on Twitter.
Yeah, so this is about the NSO group, which is the spyware, Pegasus spyware. Oh, we talked about... I didn't look up what episode it was. It was a few weeks ago about them being put. Yeah, we've talked about them a bunch of times. But this is that the Spanish Prime Minister's mobile phone was infected by Pegasus spyware.
Oops.
Yeah. I don't know about oops. Like who? Yeah. This article didn't have too much information in it. Just a couple points. The first was that it wasn't just the prime minister; it was also the defense minister. By the way,
right.
And that it was infected in May of 21, and at least one data leak occurred. They did not say whether it was who was behind it, but the quote was, "The interventions were illicit and external." And external means carried out by non-official bodies and without state authorization. Whatever that means. The other kind of implication, I will say, at least in this article, was that when there was a... what's the name? The Citizen Lab. When there was that Citizen Lab expose about NSO a few months ago, they had mentioned that there appeared to have been a number of the Catalan separatist group members who were targets, that the government didn't do much about it, but that as soon as the sort of non-separatists were targeted, everybody jumps. And so
yes, the northeastern Spanish area, the Catalanes, they would like to not be part of Spain.
Yeah. Thanks for pronouncing that in an appropriate way. I'm sorry if I butchered.
I was trying to figure out how to say that nicely.
Can I?
Do I interrupt and say it's Catalan, not Catalan? Catalan, yeah. That's all right.
It's okay. It's okay. I can take it. I will take corrections.
Apparently, this is Eric Makes Fun of Jon Today episode.
It's all good. It's all good. So, but say it again. Catalan?
Catalan, yeah.
Catalan. Okay. Anyway, yeah. I do not speak Spanish. I know you do. Sorry. Okay. So that was my follow-up. So throwing that out there. And I won't be surprised if there's some more, let's say, blowback.
Well, I imagine a lot of government people are having their phones double-checked and triple-checked at this point in time.
I think that is probably
for a lot of governments.
Good bet.
Yeah.
All right. How about topics? What'd you bring me tonight?
Sure. So I have two. You know robots.txt, right?
I do.
This is a file that you can put at the root of your web server that tells web crawlers, things like Google. So that's how Google catalogs and finds stuff. It just crawls the web looking for stuff to suck in and parse and provide results. So the robots.txt tells crawlers what they can and can't do with the website. It's a optional opt-in thing, of course.
Sort of an honor system, but
yeah, exactly.
Well-behaved crawlers are well-behaved.
Yeah. So just recently, a similar concept has been approved as, or is now an official RFC 9116, which is security.txt. So robots.txt for web crawlers, security.txt for organizations to provide ways to let researchers know how to report a security vulnerability to that company. So when security vulnerabilities are discovered by researchers, they can use this file that should be easy to find on a website to then go there and understand, okay, this is who I need to report the security issue, the vulnerability to, all sorts of things. So it's a great RFC that just kind of provides that additional standardized way for, as with robots, kind of this, not necessarily honor system, but this optional way to provide this so that it is machine parsable. So people can run automation against the web, against a bunch of different websites, and pull this information and be able to get, all right, if I find a security vulnerability at your website, who do I go talk to? Who do I send an email to? Where do I post? It can give it all sorts of different kinds of information. So
I'm out. I had seen this earlier in the week or last week, I guess. But I clicked out and I'm looking at the spec at the moment.
Yep.
And I do remember looking at this seemingly a couple of years ago. But it's nice to see. So I'm looking at the example. Nice to see a way to sign it. I don't remember that. And I'm kind of I'm looking at the organizations must place the security.txt file under the .well-known path. Right. And then, which I had thought that it was at the root under the .well-known, but no, it says for legacy compatibility, a security.txt file might be placed at the top level path or redirect to the security.txt file under the .well-known path. But if a security.txt file is present in both locations, the one in the well-known path must be used. So anyway, that's kind of the bridge to, people started adopting this before there was an actual standard and blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
So
this tries to give you a standard. So I thought that was kind of cool that it's now official. It'll be interesting to see how, I don't know, quickly is the right word, but how well this is adopted or by industry in general. So we shall see.
Okay. Oh, look at that. They have a BNF. Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Interesting. Cool. Okay. All right. Yeah, I can't. Good for that. Happy to see it.
Yep. And then my second one is a Microsoft document, which I didn't realize Microsoft used WordPress, but apparently they use WordPress because there's a PDF that you can go to Microsoft.com/security to download, and it's titled 10 Easy Rules to Secure Your Personal Data and Protect Your Devices. And so it's kind of nice. It just gives this, rule number 1, rule number 2, and so on. And it's a lot of common sense, but it's kind of this nice little infographic that I have shared with family members because it's easy to digest and easy to mentally parse for the non-tech savvy, I think. Like probably you and I and most people would look at it who have any association with security and think these are all very simple. Of course, it kind of leans towards using Microsoft products to solve some of these issues, but for the most part, it avoids. It's not really a marketing piece so much as it is a generally decent information about here's 10 things to make sure you should do just to double check. So, use an authenticator app for security. Watch for messages with attached files. Don't click on links. Don't share personal information. If you've got a device that has a lock feature with a PIN or fingerprint or facial recognition, install your software updates immediately. Make sure you've got legitimate stuff. So there's some great stuff.
Mm-hmm. This is good
in here, just in general. And like I said, easy to digest. I've sent it to a bunch of family members just to say, hey, just review this, just double check, make sure you're doing these kind of things. So that's article number 2 for me, which I thought it was a well done kind of top 10 bullet points.
Updated, browse in incognito mode, and enable pop-up blocker.
Mm-hmm.
Incognito mode doesn't necessarily do what you think it does. So
that's probably a good point. Is incognito mode doesn't mean nobody knows what you're doing. Incognito mode means your browser doesn't remember what you were doing magically for you. But everybody else between your browser and the internet, they know exactly what you're doing in case you wanted to know.
Yes.
So anyways.
All right. Yeah. Be skeptical of messages with links, especially those asking for personal information.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Fine. And this is critical. Like, if there's nothing else, find the phone number on the official website and call that.
Correct.
Yeah. It's amazing that it is cost effective enough that crooks can run their own call centers, but they do.
Yeah. Exactly.
They do. So, okay. That's cool.
All right. So there you go.
I only really brought one. I think it mainly because I had kind of a short week this week, and I was definitely offline most of the weekend. But I had posted the link to the Chrome. The latest version of Chrome came out last week, version 101. But the link that I'll actually put in here, the thing that I had seen and was like, oh, that's really kind of cool, was a list of the bug bounties that were paid in this particular version. So maybe there's another thing. Maybe there's a blog I missed. I don't know. But the list to the link to the log for the list of changes in build 101 is actually a link to the source code commit log, which I started like scrolling through and I'm like, yeah, homie's not gonna like read all this. But it says that this update includes 29 security fixes, and then I didn't count the ones that are actually shown here that were given an award to, but presumably some number of the 29 were found and fixed internally, as opposed to getting a bug bounty. But
right,
a lot of $7,000, a few $5,000. There was one $10,000 bug bounty. There were a number of NA dollars, one of which is from Microsoft. So I'm assuming that Microsoft does not allow collection of bug bounties. Google Project Zero. So I guess one left hand doesn't pay the right hand.
Right.
And let's see. I thought there was another one. Yeah. Who's that by? Microsoft Browser Vulnerability Research. I guess another Microsofty. There's a couple of other Microsoft ones. So anyway, a number of security bugs fixed. Lots and lots of use after freeze. So somebody's running fuzzers and
right.
In fact, it says down at the bottom of the post. Many of our security bugs are detected using address sanitizer, memory sanitizer, undefined behavior sanitizer, control flow integrity, libfuzzer, or AFL. So that's interesting. So I thought that was cool, particularly about the bug bounties. So awesome. The second thing kind of about Chrome that I wanted to highlight is Chrome can now, does it say when this? Oh, this is a totally old link. I don't know how I got this up, but whatever. Okay. Because this is May 18th of 2021. So this is like almost a year old. Have you used Chrome fixing passwords?
No, I use 1Password for everything, so I have not.
Yeah. Well, ditto. So I guess maybe I'm just a little out of sync. Cue back to the beginning where you're blaming me for being an old man. Okay, but anyway, so this is so I've known that Chrome, because I've got a few passwords stored in Chrome, the ones that I don't care about really, or that it's just convenient to click go, and then it's a good password, but and I wind up storing it in 1Password anyway. But anyway, regardless. But so it says, going forward, Chrome will help you change your passwords with a single tap. On supported websites, whenever you check your passwords and Chrome finds a password that may have been compromised, you will see a change password button from Assistant. When you tap the button, Chrome will not only navigate to the site, but also go through the entire process of changing your password. So that is totally cool. And it says it is under the hood built on Duplex on the web, which is Duplex is their automation feature to remember they were doing a bunch of stuff with voice where they would like book hair appointments, and evidently that's Duplex. And then this is Duplex on the web, as they're like trying to use the web to automate that.
Yep.
So I guess I don't know how well this works, and I should. If it's been out for a year, I should have at least tried it. I'm feeling guilty that I put this in here and then didn't notice that it was such an old article. But I was poking around trying to look at, hey, what's new in this version, and I went to the the Chrome blog.
Right.
And so I don't know. Cool.
All good.
it's better to have secure passwords, even if they're stored in a browser, than it is to not have secure passwords in the first place.
Correct.
Is my my opinion. So take that for what it's worth. Opinion. Take that for what it's worth. Well, you were on to 1Password like 2 years before I was. And I remember being like, all right, fine. I'll install 1Password. And I've been very, very happy with it. So, yeah. And it has definitely taken over my life.
All right.
How about something fun?
Okay, so my something fun, I don't know if it's fun per se.
You're back to the Eric's fun is not fun. Sorry.
But it is definitely fascinating.
Okay.
So this is an article.
I have not clicked this link
on Substack about the title is "Pop Culture Has Become an Oligopoly," right? So an oligopoly is the market or industry being dominated by a small number of large sellers or producers. And so how do you measure whether or not pop culture has become an oligopoly? I'm going to say that multiple times, right? And it starts off with, you may have noticed that every popular movie these days is a remake, a reboot, a sequel, a spin-off, or a cinematic universe expansion. In 2021, only one of the top 10 grossing films, Free Guy, was an original.
Good film.
It was. I enjoyed it. There were only 2 originals in 2020's top 10 and none at all in 2019. So he doesn't just, so you think, oh, there's just one note. It's about movies. Okay, yeah, sure, movies. Well, he has charts and data and goes through and shows, here's what it looks like for movies. And it's regardless, since the year 2000, the majority of movies, for example, are in that prequel, sequel, spin-off, remake, etc. bucket anymore. And then he moves on to television. Television, also line sloping upward of television shows, because, we used to make fun of it. It was like CSI, CSI Miami, CSI Las Vegas, Law and Order SVU, Law and Order, all those kind of shows were the same there. And then he went into, he looked at the analysis on music, right? Well, obviously with, streaming music services and the ease for anybody to basically publish their music, that's got to be different. No. In the Hot 100, so the top 100 songs, the number of different artists has been decreasing over the years. And then how many songs do those artists have in the top charts each year? It used to be about 1.5 songs, in the top 100 for a year. Now it's up to 2.5 per artist, when they're famous. Not just movies, television, music, books. He even goes through and looks at the books, which is a little bit more varied, but still the line is sloping upwards. And then, finishes off with video games. And then kind of comes with, why is this happening? So it was, like I said, probably more on the fascinating than the fun side, because he really kind of breaks down all the stuff that, some reasons why some of this may be going this direction. So anyways, I it's a great read. It's kind of fascinating, right? He gets a little bit into the algorithmic software taking over the world bits, where if you liked, X, you might like, X part 2, or whatever it is, the book or the sequel to the book or the sequel to the movie or the sequel, so all these things have kind of pulled in together, right? So anyways, I thought it was well written, kind of very interesting. So
very interesting.
There you go. It's a Substack titled "Experimental History," and one of his articles is "Pop Culture Has Become an Oligopoly." So there you go. That's my something fun this week.
I did not read this, and this is a good article. I gotta read the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
The problem isn't that the mean has decreased; it's that the variance has shrunk. Interesting. It's like eating macaroni and cheese every single night forever. It may be comfortable, but eventually you're going to get scurvy. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, it's opinion backed with a lot of data. It's well done, well written.
Lies, dang lies, and statistics. Okay. Okay. All right. I have 1 1/4 fun things. So,
okay.
Just because the first thing is, it's literally like a 30-second video on Twitter. So if you haven't clicked this link, you should click this link. It's basically somebody showing that mercury is so dense an anvil floats in it. And so they've got it looks like a rubber tub of mercury. I don't know how one gets a rubber tub of mercury. And they're taking a, I don't know, 30-pound, 50-pound anvil, and it is happily floating on it. It's just it's a small video.
Like a rubber ducky in the tub.
It's like a rubber ducky in a tub, except that it's a full-on metal anvil
in a vat of mercury.
An anvil in a vat of mercury. And the mercury, when he dunks it all the way under by forcing it under, the mercury is all beating up and running off as if mercury was liquid metal. Okay. All right. So, thank you for laughing. It's why we're friends. Sorry. You laugh at my jokes, which are totally dumb.
Which is hilarious because stating the obvious, I don't know why stating the obvious sounds so funny to me at that point, but
okay. Anyway. Okay.
Right, there you go.
So my real something fun. This is spring. Spring is bee time. This is another bee something fun. I'm sorry. You're going to get more bee videos in your YouTube timeline. Except this isn't a video. This is more about varroa mites. So this is a Eco Watch article about, and I've read about this before, but I don't think I've talked about it on the podcast, about scientists at the USDA have been working for 14 years on breeding a line of honeybees that is what they call, they exhibit something called varroa sensitive hygiene. But basically they detect when a pupa is, has varroa mites in the cell, and they cull it out. And if the bees do this themselves, because they're like, oh, this varroa or this pupa smells wrong, they cut open the cell and basically
kill it.
The mites don't breed, and you don't have to have chemicals or biological treatments to let the colonies survive. And by the way, this all started because the honeybee is native to Europe initially. The varroa mites are native to East Asia, and so at some point they were introduced, and so the honeybees haven't developed. They didn't evolve to have to cope with the varroa mites. And, so a high infestation of varroas causes lots of other, because basically the mites suck. I mean, they're like a tick, but a tick that's like, a significant fraction of the size of its host. They suck the, I forget what it's called. Sorry. It's basically part of the blood of the bee and hemolymph. I think that's it. And it basically weakens their immune system. They become subject to deformed wing virus and other problems. And so it's rare that the mites themselves like kill the bees, but the mites weaken the bees so much that they become subject to all these other sort of environmental factors.
Problems, right?
And causes this, what they called colony collapse disorder when that first came out, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. And it was, it's basically this. Anyway, sorry, that's a whole bunch of like background for that. But they've spent 14 years breeding this strain, I guess you'd say, of bees that exhibits this VSH or Varroa sensitive hygiene. And this has been known about. This is the first paper that tested them in a commercial setting against other strains of bees. So this is 173 colonies of, they call this pole line. I don't know what the pole stands for. Pole line bees compared to 193 colonies of regular bees. And they transported the bees between states to pollinate different crops, Mississippi, South Dakota, California, and back again. The quote is, "It's probably the most demanding system you can place a colony of honeybees through." And then, so here's the results. So, let's see. They treated them with different mite treatments. So for no mite treatment, 62.5% of the pole line colonies survived winter compared to 3% of conventional colonies. So 62% to 3% with no treatment, as in just what can they do naturally? When the colonies received 2 mite treatments, 72% of the pole line colonies survived compared with 56% of the other conventional colonies. So overall, 60% of the pole line bees survived the winter compared to 26% of the regular bees. And, in general, you'll have losses. And, but prior to the 90s, which is when the Varroa mites really started really taking over or becoming prevalent at all, I think beekeepers had a much easier time keeping their colonies alive. I don't know what the colony death rate during winter was, but these days, if you don't treat, you're almost certain to lose the colony. Like there's these days you pretty much can't not treat. There are people who try to go with no or only natural treatments, and there's some stuff you can do that don't involve chemicals, but they can be. There are other downsides to those, or some of them at least. But one of the things many of those start with is don't use non-native bees. Basically, you have to catch your bees from a wild swarm. And you breed those. Don't breed. Don't take commercial bees that you're getting from, the South or California, and
right.
And because those are all subject to, and really they all are. And when you can't, unless you live in, there's a few places. Like there's places in Hawaii. I think that's where a lot of this is done, the VSH work. There's places in Hawaii. I know there's places in the Great Lakes where they have islands where the island is more than 3 miles separate from other plots of land.
Is that the bee flight distance is 3 miles?
Yeah, basically radius of 3 miles-ish. Not that they couldn't go farther, but if really pressed, I guess. But essentially, in order to truly control the genetic stock, you have to make sure you know both the boys and the girls. And the only way to do that is to have a very controlled environment, aka an island, with a very limited population. And
okay.
Anyway, it's done, but once you come into the normal part of the world, now, your control goes away.
Mixing and matching.
You can have your queens artificially inseminated. That is a thing. But not at the hobbyist level, let's say. Sorry.
I would imagine you'd need special equipment.
I actually don't know how that's done.
Hey.
Anyway.
Whatever happened to the murder hornets? That was a big deal a while ago. Are they still around, or was that a...
They're called Asian giant hornets.
Yes,
I'm still on the mailing list. Hold on. Let me just look in my mail real quick. Asian giant.
Just thinking of threats to bees. I remember that being a potential big threat to bees.
Yeah. No, I gotta, let's see, the last newsletter I got was April 21st. So, there's a whole, in fact, here, I'll copy this image and I'll put it in the notes. Maybe I'll even throw it into the notes, but, there's a whole trapping plan, for, northwestern Washington, gridded out, and they intend on, let's see, our goal is to have at least one trap in each of the map grids, and there's a lot of map grids.
The bees don't cross the border into Canada?
Canada has their own.
Okay.
Canada and Washington are cooperating.
Collaborating, okay.
But, yeah. I guess the Washington State Department of Agriculture has a boundary that they have to honor.
Got it.
So.
Okay, sorry. That was a sidetrack there, but I just was curious.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm on a mailing list.
All right.
And there you go.
All right, dude. Well, you have a fabulous week traveling.
I will. Ditto.
Next week will be fun. I will have driven another 800 miles and been to a wedding. So
that's right. So this week we're recording early. Next week we're recording on time. The next week we're recording late.
That's right.
This is our plan. We have a plan.
That's right.
All right.
Unlike normal,
it's good to have a plan. It's good to have a plan. That's the lowest possible bar of a plan.
Picking the night.
It's all good.
All right, Jon.
All right. Have a good one. I'll talk to you later.
Yep. We'll see you. Bye.
Bye.